first Europeans came to the Yukon centuries ago, they were surprised, especially in the summertime. It was because it was a very warm land and the lakes were filled with fish and the land was very abundant with animals. Survival was quite easy. But when the Europeans first came in the cold weather, especially in eastern Canada, it was a different story. And many of the early expeditions were absolute disasters with scurvy, starvation, and frostbite. On today's show, we fly 1,500 miles to the east, to Quebec's subarctic, to visit with the Inuit and learn from them the same survival techniques that they taught the Europeans centuries ago. Techniques that are just as important today as they were yesterday.
You're living on Yukon time. You're leaving your cares behind, where adventure fills the day and the song of nature plays. You'll feel it as you explore this paradise of the north. Come discover all you'll find. Stake your claim to peace of mind. You're living on Yukon time.
It's a balmy spring day at latitude 45.5 degrees at Montreal's Dorval International Airport.
Use of the cellular telephone is prohibited. Thank you.
And today we are taking this twin-engine Dash 8 operated by Air Inuit into Nunavik. And in just a few hours we'll be flying right back into winter. Now, Nunavik is a huge area of Quebec, north of the 55th parallel, and is home to approximately 10,000 Inuit, Cree, and Naskapi, living in 14 communities scattered over 500,000 square kilometers. There are no highways in Quebec's Arctic region, so Air Inuit provides essential transportation for the region 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. Collectively owned by the Inuit, the airline has accumulated more than 250,000 hours of airtime and carried more than 1 million passengers through Nunavik skies. The Canadian-made Dash 8 is perfect for the northern work. It is versatile for cargo or passengers with payloads of 7,500 pounds operating off 3,500-foot gravel strips.
It's just like another country up north, and you see another culture, and it's beautiful right here.
You're the lifeline for these people, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Since there's no roads, that's the only link they have with the south for everything you can imagine. Transportation of patient, transportation of the food, transportation of the people. So we are a lifeline, like you say.
Welcome to Quebec, Canada, a real Quebec. And I hope you enjoy your stay in Pavangnituk.
For thousands of years, the Inuit have lived and prospered on this land. We're in Pavangnituk, population 1,169 people, and hub of the Hudson Bay region. Now, even though Montreal has just seen a record-breaking 30 degrees Celsius weather, it is still winter in the Quebec Arctic. Here, the majestic tundra has beaten back the taiga forest, and people come to work and live overcome by a silver cold and sparkling Arctic spell.
It's part of our country, part of our province, and I think it's amazing to have that chance to come and work here.
While dogs are still used for the odd dog sled, snowmobiles have taken over as the main form of transportation. I have traveled all the way from the other side of the country to learn about winter survival from the masters, the Inuit people. Mario Obey is the facilitator of a survival school that teaches people from the South traditional survival techniques.
No room for mistake. If you do a mistake around here, that's it. You don't fight the nature, you have to be with the nature. The snow is just like the fire. The fire can burn you, the snow can kill you or save you.
The actual teaching is done by the Nunavik Inuit elders. They are direct descendants of the Thule people who have lived in the northern climates for thousands of years. But there is a problem. Mario tells me that the Wings Over Canada crew might not be welcome. It seems that TV crews have come and gone, but nothing has ever been aired for this region.
The show that we're doing right now
will be shown in the late fall of this year and in the winter of 2003.
I understand last time we had a TV crew and we never saw the tape, but this time we will.
I agree with that. Because the last time the other guy was smiling and all that, and we end up with nothing, so you guys better have a piece of paper, and if they don't come back, we'll take them somewhere else.
And remember one thing, that movie, that documentary is not for them, it's for us, it's for you, it's for the school, and we need that.
So I've been given the go-ahead to film, but I have to give my word that the episode will be aired. So I joined a group of survival school members. They're all pilots who fly for Air Inuit, and our first duties are to learn the basics.
You can take the machine and you can hit yourself.
We are told that the course will mean living on the land for 3 days, about 40 miles out onto the tundra.
The whole idea when I first heard of the survival course was just, I love the outdoors. Let's see if I like it as much out in the middle of winter.
To survive, I want to learn to survive. In the blizzard, maybe. I want to walk away from here with confidence, knowing that when I see that white land, I can survive on it.
And on the last day, we'll have to find our way back on snowmobile. For that task, we'll get to choose a team member from our own ranks to partner with. I've already learned that David here is a crowd favorite.
All of these guys, I don't know them that well. The ones that I know, I like Dave a lot. Then I think because of the way he is, very calm.
With David, my chance is better.
I saw David and he looked serious.
We're all going to find our way back because we all want to go back home. But if you ask me, John's definitely the one I don't want to go with.
What are you getting?
Huh?
What are you buying?
I don't know. What is it called?
Tarpaulin?
Whatever.
Tarpaulin?
Tarpaulin, yeah. For cover our stock.
Yeah. Are you going to get any, like, survival candy?
No, it's already done.
Survival candy? Are you going to get any of that?
We did that yesterday.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah. We bought everything we needed yesterday.
Well, with extra provisions bought, it's time for a group shot. And I really feel that I've been accepted as one of the group.
Today's show, we're at Nunavut, northern Quebec in the tundra. We're going to spend 4 days wilderness survival in the wintertime.
And then we fire up the snowmobiles and we're off for our 4 days on the tundra. Over the centuries, Inuit have demonstrated exceptional ingenuity adapting to the climate. This desert of ice holds few secrets for them, and more than simple surviving, they have learned to live gracefully in the cold. In skill and swiftness, the Inuit have learned to hunt silver fox. And they've learned to work with the building materials of choice, and that's the snow that surrounds them. They can make hasty shelters for survival in a surprise blizzard, or they can build igloos that will last for months.
Well, this is a vast wasteland up here. It's very poetic when you really look at it. Try to imagine the early explorers as they're walking along here. Well, looking from here up to the North Pole, it's pretty much like this.
Up here, the local supermarket is as close as the nearest frozen lake. The ice up here is 5 feet thick, and there are 2 ways to get to the food: with an ice auger or with a traditional pick.
You have all the students fishing here. Do they ever have sort of a contest or a little mini derby?
No, we don't ever do that around here. We have to fish to survive, not to catch the bigger fish.
It's more close to nature. Is no stress really than the city.
There are a lot of mouths to feed, and the Inuit don't let 5 feet of ice stop them from setting their nets.
I've done a lot of ice fishing before, but never with a net. But that doesn't look too bad.
The process uses a wooden crawler dropped below the ice and walked 100 feet out under the surface by pulling on a rope.
Yeah, it's up like that.
Right?
That's the weight.
And that wants to float up like that? Okay.
That wants to float up like that.
Right.
When you pull it,
like that?
pushes.
So this would go...
Yeah, it pushes that way.
Grabs onto the ice,
yes,
right?
And it moves that way.
Finding the location of a device under 5 feet of ice is a question of a keen sense of hearing. Then a second hole is drilled to retrieve the crawler.
Two for the pot. One more.
Tonight there are lots of fish. We know.
Getting bigger. Four. Two more.
It's going to be a lot of food tonight. Well, there's a lot of vitamins around where there's animals. We have vitamins in seal meat. We have vitamins in caribou, because caribous are vegetarian. They have vitamins just like the fish.
What, have you got something you can tell me that I'm not going to be able to just find in some book that I can pick off of the shelf?
It takes a long time to thousands of years to be able to adapt to this environment. Well, your body's not suitable for the cold climate here. The people are adaptable. They're adapted to this environment. When a guy takes his gloves off from the guy from the south, it gets cold right away. But when you have a guy who's been up here for all his life, he takes his gloves off, it doesn't even bother him.
You have to be able to adjust your thermostat, John. If you're cold, and I say very cold, you have to be able to heat up your thermostat by either working harder or put some layers. I'm talking about clothing, of course. If you're getting too hot, you have to be able to remove them. You sweat, and that's it. That's why when the instructor was explaining to you not to sweat, if you sweat, you're going to die. People who were on the land, they had bad luck this year. We had one Inuk in Purungnutuk and one in Inukjuak. Inukjuak who couldn't survive. And they died.
Inuktituk.
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 Tuk.
Inuktituk language. Inuktituk language has 4 words for snow, right? What are they?
Sunego, I think it. No, I put it.
Siulipak. Ahadlohak. Ammalo. Sitiya puditahak. Pukallo. Ammalo hanitak.
So that was 4 or 5? I counted 5. Okay, well, then I guess I gotta ask you. What kind of snow is that?
Bukak. Bukak.
That's bukak?
Yeah, bukak.
Okay. Bukak?
Ice.
I always wonder why they didn't move south, and all these centuries they stayed up here.
I woke in a cold, cold sweat. I felt so sad. I couldn't stay in dreamland. Had to face the world, the cold, hard, real world, and feel the hunger burning.
The Inuit instructors stress to the students that if a person finds himself stranded in the cold, that sleep is the enemy. The core temperatures drop and the person never wakes up. They demonstrate the Inuit technique of taking shelter in a kneeling position with the head as a pivot point. This restricts the conduction of the cold out of the body to only 3 contact points. And more importantly, if you doze off, you keel over and wake yourself up. We are breaking camp to head out to a new location to set up our little igloo village, which will serve as our home for the next few days. First, the students strike off ahead, and then I get a chance to test my own navigating skills. Our team includes field producer Bruce Nickmans. To keep us safe, we have our Inuit guide, and behind him our translator. My job is to lead without a compass to find the new base camp. The guide will take over if I get lost, and if all else fails, they have a GPS.
I don't know where I'm going. You see our guide way up there, but there's no definition in the snow at all because we can't see our tracks. You want a track?
Well, we've really done it this time. Not only have I got lost, but the guides have taken over, and actually the guides are lost too. So we are lost in the tundra.
And when you get lost, everybody tends to go in a circle.
Yeah.
And look at where we are. We've been driving for 30 minutes, so we've just done a giant semicircle.
But after a while, you don't know. Everything looks the same, right?
Yeah, everything looks the same. We're lost. Everything looks the same. Yeah, we're lost.
So people think sometimes, might think that we're sort of making this up, but are we?
No. We are really lost.
Yeah, we're really lost.
Okay. Well, the problem is that now we're here, still trying to find some tracks, and we've lost Willie, and Willie's got the GPS, and we've just heard a gunshot over there. And Bruce is climbing up the hill. I think what we're going to have to do now is backtrack and see if we can find Willie, and I'll suggest that to our guide. But also Willie is our translator, so it's going to be fun. Bruce, don't get out of sight of us. This is like a B-grade movie. Every time we turn around, we're missing somebody and losing somebody else.
John, I've got a spotting scope in my bag, 8-power binocular. I'll go get it for you. Maybe we'll see something that way.
And I thought I heard a skidoo. Did I?
I heard a skidoo on the far side of the hill, and I thought I heard 2 gunshots coming from upwind as well.
You see anything?
No.
Ball-headed.
Rock?
Yeah, that's skidoo. Inuit.
Inuit skidoos over there?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little suspicious that Willie showed up with lunch just as we spotted the rest of our group.
You got 4 ptarmigans.
And it turns out the whole thing was an Inuit test to see how Bruce and I would react to a little Arctic stretch.
Looks like we found home base, so let's go.
At the survival school, everyone gets a hands-on opportunity to build their own one-man igloo and then move in for the night.
Who needs to pay for a gym when you can do this instead?
The techniques are taught in detail, from locating a building site to cutting and laying the blocks to the finishing details.
I got a good instructor, and he told me everything before I started. So, as it goes, we have more and more input from them, and they make sure we don't make mistakes. That's the whole point. It's gonna take me almost 4 to 5 hours to complete all the igloo, for sure.
Igloo building is a pure art form involving both physical and intellectual exercises.
Oh, fits like a glove.
After all this hard work, now I get to patch the holes and prepare for the night.
What surprised me is that the thick snow walls create a strange acoustical seal from the outside world.
I am in an igloo right now, and it's just unbelievable because it's not what I thought it would be at all. First of all, it's a little bluish in here, and you have a real sense of peace and solitude in here. Very much like a small chapel, or i.e. church. It really is unbelievable. It's almost spiritual.
Well, we're moving in. But what he pointed out is that these, which we're going to use as a ground mat, if you like, have to be put in this way and not this way, in other words, if you see what I mean. The tips of the branches have to go in last.
Well, for sleeping accommodations, I decide to bunk in with Mario. We each have a Coleman stove, so with both of them fired up, we should be quite comfortable.
It was pretty warm with caribou skin. Everything was very nice.
Good morning. I woke up a few times, but still, I slept well. It was perfect, comfortable, and I think my life's changed.
Had a couple candles in there, warm things up. Actually, the walls started to drip, so it must have been above zero.
Well, what happened?
What happened? We overheat, John. We were scared to get cold. Look what happened.
We had a...
Now we have to make a new roof.
Another fiasco. Well,
welcome to the Arctic.
So we got to put a new roof together before we can sleep?
Oh yes, and we have to move our snow very fast because the equipment will be all wet.
Can't believe it. But I'll tell you, it sure cooled off here in a hurry, didn't it?
That's okay, we'll build another roof.
Actually, what we can do is do our interviews right here. It'll be a cutaway igloo. Nobody will know the difference.
That's it? Yeah.
This is what Hollywood would do. They go to a lot of trouble building half of an igloo. The CBC was here doing it. You never see anything like this. This is really how to build a... Well, the igloo was built, well, it was that... The problem with it was what?
The stove. We had 2 Coleman stoves inside where it did overheat and was not cold enough outside. That collapsed.
To come to the Arctic up here in Nunavik and learn from the Inuit masters is a great idea for both pilots and outdoor enthusiasts.
Just to meet the Inuit, and see how the life they do, how they live, It's kind of different life.
We have no trees up here. We can't start cutting down trees and building a shelter like we would down south.
They look after everything here, including the flight up from Montreal on Air Inuit, ground school, skidoos, accommodation in town, fishing lines, everything. And it's surprisingly affordable, probably one of the cheapest winter holidays you could take. The bragging rights for trout fishing in the Arctic and igloo construction are priceless. Then again, you'll have the experience to be master of a winter environment, and who knows when and where that will come in handy.
You want to go fishing with your friend in the plane, and you have the survival course. You can help your friends to save his life.
We build our own igloos, we sleep by ourselves, and we're meant to be self-reliant.
I almost got lost in a blizzard 2 years ago here in Puvalutuk. I think that would be the worst way to... People say it's a good way to die because you don't suffer, but I have doubts about that.
I'm John Lovelace and hope you can join me again next week up here in Wilderness, Canada. Well, that's it for today's show, and I sure hope you enjoyed it. Now, I wanted to show you something. This is a contraption that we made up here, and just goes to show you don't have to spend a whole lot of money in the bush to entertain yourself. What this is a half-inch flex tube and a funnel, and it makes beautiful music. I'll try it again. See you next week. For information on an Arctic visit with the Nunavik Arctic Survival Training Center, contact nastc.ca.
VHS copies of this show or of any of the 80-episode Wings Over Canada series are available at wingsovercanada.ca. Comments or ideas for future episodes are always welcome at mail@wingsovercanada.ca. For information on your own Yukon Wilderness vacation, log on to taggishwildernesslodge.com.
Place you feel it as you explore this paradise of the